Today marks the second in the 5-week series based on the book Eye of the Storm, Embracing Conflict, Creating Peace. It's a very powerful work by Gary Simmons, written and published in 2001, but it's still very much a part of the active curriculum that we use in Unity with leadership, with children, and with us regular congregants. It's a powerful, powerful piece of work that includes very many tools and practices. Awarepy is what he calls it, the practice of centering, to help us remember the strength of our divinity, to help us remember our natural state of wholeness. Last week we took a look at conflict and looked at a paradigm where conflict was considered a result of separation and judgment, and then wandered into what it would be like to recognize conflict as creative tension, as that disharmony, that discord, and that discomfort that comes as we receive an invitation to open the gateway, open the doorway for our soul to evolve. We looked at two paradigms. We call them the old paradigm and the new paradigm. And actually, the new paradigm is about 2,500 years old, but we forget about it, so it's new every day, just like 51st days. The old paradigm is blame, talk, right, wrong, win, lose, better than, less than, misperception, miscommunication, separation, and judgment, conflict. The new paradigm is that nothing and no one is against me. The universe is here to support me. Total acceptance, absolute potential in the realm of infinite possibility. What somebody else thinks about me is none of my business, and creative tension leads to evolution. Creative tension leads to evolution. Nothing and no one's against us. Very often we feel like there are people in the world who are our adversaries, who are our enemies, who are really, in truth, in the new paradigm, they're necessary partners. They're necessary partners in our unfolding of our divinity, in our unfolding of our greatness, in the unfolding of our amazing, awesome selves. We have necessary partners. The famous baseball player in Japan, Mr. O, I'm not thinking of his first name anyway, but his last name is Mr. O. He is the home run record holder for the world. He has, in his career, hit 868 home runs. Sadaharu is his first name. Anyway, he said the secret of his success was when he faced a pitcher on the opposing team, he saw that opposing pitcher as his necessary partner in hitting home runs. Imagine if we looked at, let's just say our family members, well-intentioned friends, co-workers, employees, employers, supervisors, random people driving down the streets, politicians. What if we even looked at our body, our heart, and our mind as necessary partners in the unfoldment of our evolution? Well, let's start with family. There's a story told in the book of Genesis, in the Hebrew Scriptures, about a family whose father was Jacob. Jacob was a very important figure in the whole of Judaism because he's considered the father of Israel. In fact, the prophecy was, you will be the father of Israel, you will have 12 sons, they will represent the 12 tribes of Israel, to assure the continuance of the Jewish nation. So Jacob, he has these 12 sons, and the youngest one's name was, do you know? Joseph. So Joseph, he would go to his father all the time and say bad things about his brothers. Did you know that? He said bad things about his brothers right there in chapter 37 in Genesis, in the 2nd verse. In other words, he was kind of a liar. He would say these bad things about his brothers, and his brothers didn't like him very much. And then one night Joseph had this dream, and he went to his brothers the next day and he said, I had this phenomenal dream, and in this phenomenal dream all 11 of you were prostrate across the ground in supplication worshiping me. Now, do you think his brothers like that? No, they didn't. So they finally hatched the idea to kill Joseph. But they didn't. They didn't kill him because they were greedy. They were greedy, and they decided we could benefit from the money we could get by selling him into slavery. So they sold him to a couple of Midianites, and off Joseph goes to Egypt. So this is where you guys go, oh no. Oh no. Yeah, they did. Now, let me just ask you this before we continue. Have you ever had the experience in thought or deed, this is not a confession, so don't raise your hand, but in thought or deed where you just knew your life was going to be better because you got rid of somebody? Right? I'm asking you if that resonates with you. Well, I think my life could be peaceful if it wasn't for that one person. My life could be peaceful if my body would just cooperate. My life could be peaceful. And you think, well, you either think or you do something about having that person, and poof, they're gone out of your life. Then what happens? Yeah, you know what happens next. The universe fills that void with another person. With another person in your life, whether it's exactly the same kind of miserable from irritating, obnoxious liars, or it's a different kind of miserable from irritating, obnoxious people, it happens. So it happened in this story. The brothers go home and they tell the dad a lie, and they said, Joseph was eaten by wild animals. He must have been, because look at his coat, it's covered with blood. And Jacob, he just gets upset. He starts tearing his clothes, and he decides to wear sackcloth, and he wails and he moans, and he is unhappy until the day he realizes something else. But he's unhappy for a long time, and he makes everybody else unhappy. So they went from the proverbial frying pan to the fire. Now, to make this very long story short, eventually there's a famine in the land, and the only place that has food is Egypt. The family of Jacob, the brothers, they go to Egypt to beg for the privilege of buying some food. There they are, laying prostrate on the ground in front of the food master. And who's the food master? Joseph. So this is where you guys say, oh no. Oh no, because in this old paradigm, what happens? Joseph is going to want to take retribution. He's going to have revenge. He's going to want to engage in all those win-lose, better than, less than kinds of activities. But he doesn't. He eventually, because this is the short version, eventually, he looks at his brothers and he said, you may have meant these actions and these activities for evil, but God meant them for good. You may have meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. Imagine the universe conspiring in such a way that his brothers were in this famine and Joseph was in a position to help him out. If they had never sold him into slavery, Joseph would have never been there. That's how the universe conspires for our good. It doesn't always look good in the moment, but eventually, oh my gosh, when we partner with the universe, when we co-conspire with God, look at the goodness that's available to us. And then another great thing about the story is Joseph invited them to come live with him in the land of Goshen. Metaphysically, Goshen means unity. He's inviting them into the new paradigm. He's inviting his brothers into the new paradigm. I think that's a pretty amazing story. And what if we looked at all of our necessary partners and said yes to being into the new paradigm? This is where you guys get to say, oh yes! Oh yes! But what happens is we forget. We have that capacity to be like Joseph's 11 brothers. We have the capacity to be the enemy. The Talmud says this: who is mighty, those who can control their emotions and make of an enemy a friend. In the Hebrew translation of enemy, it's either one of two things: one who hates or Satan. So if we can invite one who hates or Satan back into the land of Goshen, think of the amazing effect that we will have on the residents of the planet. Metaphysically, Satan means the adversary whose power is derived from the unlawful expression of man's own being. Now, as human beings, we occasionally engage in the unlawful expression. And it looks like this: not telling the truth. I'm right, but I'm afraid I'm wrong. Inciting an argument: I'm right and I'll prove it. Wanting to control or dominate: I'm right and I don't care what you think. Or blaming: I could be right, I might be right, and I should be right, except it's your fault that I'm not right. Like, if it wasn't for you or external circumstances or even my own body or my own heart, I could be right. Jesus says the remedy is love. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, talks about the remedy being love and how to immerse ourselves in that love, to center ourselves in that love, and invite our necessary partner into that love. That's how we make of an enemy a friend. To turn our enemies into allies, to turn our adversaries into allies. And especially a lot of blame talk going on in the world, we can turn our attention from blame talk to conscious heart talk. From blame talk to conscious heart talk. In order to demonstrate this, I've asked for 2 volunteers, and they have said yes. And that's Leon and Marie. And Leon and Marie are going to come up and demonstrate what it's like to go from blame talk to blame talk. And if I could have the handheld, then I will be the person. Okay, are you ready? Oh, yeah.
You're not going to function and roll this time?
No, just like get tense. Get tense, because it's their fault. And you know it. You know, it's like their fault, and you know it.
Stop it!
Okay, but Leon laughs, and that's okay. But okay, so just say it over and over and over, and you will find yourself being immersed.
How could you have treated me like that?
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
How could you have treated me like that?
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
How could you have treated me like that?
You are not understanding what I'm saying.
How could you have treated me like that?
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Okay, is your heart pumping yet? Like, are you engaged in this drama? Like, even witnessing, we have picked up this energy. So it's one, I mean, imagine what it's like for them. And they were just acting. Okay, except for you.
No, I was real.
No, you were real. Okay. So we're going to shift it just a little. We're going to give you this card, and we're going to give you this card, and we're going to invite you to consider that no matter what Leon actually looks like, his normal, handsome self, he is the face of every problem, every issue, every person that has ever done you wrong in your entire life. Okay?
No pressure there.
Stew on that. Okay? Just like your job is to stew and swirl like hurricane winds and just spin over there. Okay? Your job, Leon, is to find that place in your heart. That place in your heart where you know love is. And to think of someone or somebody you love. Nobody's not coming to mind right away. Think of a puppy. Or think of a little baby sleeping on somebody's shoulder. You got it? You got it? Okay.
Always criticize me.
I commit to seeing you as my ally.
You always criticize me.
I commit to seeing you as my ally.
You always criticize me.
I commit to seeing you as my ally.
Always criticize me.
I commit to seeing you as my ally.
So do you see what one person can do? What one person can do between two? So imagine the energy that we could send out to the world if we were just one person engaging in conscious heart talk. One person. So sometimes when we make a shift, it's really important to change our body position. So I noticed that Peg has her legs crossed this way. So if you have your legs crossed, cross them the other way. If you have your hands crossed, cross them the other way. If you're not crossed at all, shake your shoulders, wiggle, wiggle. Maybe you guys better switch positions. Okay, so like, shake, shake, shake. I'm telling you, I've been to business meetings where I walk out and one person I heard said once, I don't know what it is with her. Sometimes she just wiggles. I'm like, yeah, and I'm healthy. I'm healthy. So I'm going to ask the both of you now to tune into your heart. Yeah, you got it this time, didn't you? So tune into your heart and find that place where you can identify something or someone you love. For me, it would be thinking of my relationship with Nikki, or my sons, or ice cream, or the full moon rising over the beach on Friday, the beauty of that, the beauty of nature. So find a place somewhere, I'm looking at Kim, where you sing beautifully and people appreciate you, play beautifully. Okay, got it? Okay? And now look at the other and invite them in by blessing them. By blessing them. This, this is not for sissies. Okay?
I wonder what I can learn from this.
I commit to communicating clearly.
I wonder what I can learn from this.
I commit to communicating clearly.
I wonder what I can learn from this.
We don't even have to do it that many times. I wonder what I can learn. I want to be there. We're leading with our hearts. Like, I want to be there. So in your bulletin, thank our lovely Yeah, it's going to stay. So in your bulletin, there's a whole list. It fell anyway. There's a whole list. I commit to seeing that microphone as my ally. I wonder what good could come out of this. There's a whole list of blame and a counter-conscious heart talk move, a phrase that we can engage in. Because ultimately, the only person we have any control over is ourselves. So if we're talking to our own body, we're talking to somebody in our family, a well-intentioned friend, a coworker, an employer, an employee, a random person driving down the road, or a politician, we can be the first. We can be the first. This is the process, actually, that we did. And that's on the other side of the piece of paper. Center in love. Bless. When we center in love, we find that heart space, we find that feeling, we find those thoughts where we know love is. When we bless the other person, we're drawing them into our circle of love. We're accepting, we're empowering, we are inviting. And then step 3 is to do good, to actually say those words, to engage. It's one thing to think about it. It's another thing to engage. And number 4, finally, number 4 is to cement all this in prayer. To take the new thoughts. To take that necessary partner into that most holy and sacred experience and say, I see the God in you. I behold the God in you. All is beautiful and all is well. We cement this process in prayer and meditation. Will you join me, please, as we sing a new song? And I invite you to just see this idea and this feeling moving out and radiating from the center of us. Not only inviting our own bodies and hearts and minds, but the hearts, minds, and bodies of others.